When I was thinking about the topic today, James suggested I choose something based on my experience, something I feel passionate about, and something that might help others. So that really kind of framed my choice today. And the reason I chose this particular topic is that currently the average tenure of a VP of sales in a startup is only 18 months. And actually for first-time VPs, it's less, it's close to 12 months. So I really want to touch on why I think this is happening and 3 steps I think we can take to improve this. Now, I remember my first time starting in a startup. It was a great opportunity being a VP of sales in a company that is fast-paced, has cutting-edge technology, a chance to make your mark, build a team. What's not to love? Yet so many VPs are finding themselves being a number in this statistic, and it's not only frustrating for them, it's actually incredibly disruptive for the businesses. I myself have actually been a part of this statistic, and when I left that role, I spoke to a number of my peers, and I found huge commonality as to why this is happening. And it seemed to boil down to high expectations from this role, and a misalignment on what can actually be achieved in 12 months against a reality where the business is at. Now, as Owen said, I'm a football fan, and it kind of reminds me of football managers in the Premiership. Clubs take on these managers with huge expectations, expecting them to win trophies, get in the top 4 of the Premiership, but very quickly become disillusioned when they don't see immediate results. And they sort of fall into this cycle of trading off managers and moving through lots of managers, and really failing to realize it can take some time to bring a team together, build relationships, and execute on tactics. Now, of course, there are many components that can improve chances of success for someone coming into this role, but I've chosen these 3 today based on my experience. And the first one is it's really important for businesses to take the time to think about what type of sales leader they need. When a founder is ready to look for a sales leader, it's exciting and daunting. And for early stage companies, it may be the first time they've ever hired a sales leader, and they don't really have much expertise in sales. So they often turn to investors and peers for guidance. But ultimately, it's really important to pick the right role for you. And that role will depend on the stage your business is at and the skill set you have in place. Is it a CRO? Is it a VP? Is it a player coach? If you need someone strategic, perhaps someone who'll be talking to the investors or the board, or running marketing, sales, and perhaps customer success, then it might be a CRO. Or is it more tactical in the style of leadership? Someone who has a background in managing teams, creating playbooks and processes, and that might be more aligned to VP role or experience. Or is it a player coach, someone who's rolling up their sleeves, selling as well as leading a team? For early stage businesses, it's probably all of the above, right? But it's unlikely you're going to get that always in one person. And if you don't, you then really need to think about the important skill sets and experiences for your business, and then invest in that person. Add a development plan so this person can grow with the role and your business. The second thing is the importance of establishing your go-to-market plan and having a process in place before hiring lots of salespeople. A common mistake we see businesses make is to hire a sales leader, get a pitch in place, create revenue targets, hire a team, give them quota, and expect lots of revenue. But then when we don't hit the revenue target, the business wonders what went wrong, and typically they look at the sales leader first. But by having a joint sales and marketing GTM in place, it not only ensures alignment across the whole business, especially marketing and sales, but it also forces the business to really think about who they will target, how they will do this, and what metrics they will measure against. Now, GTM planning, as we know, is a huge topic, and like me, I'm sure loads of you as leaders are going through that right now. But for those who want more information, I recommend Winning by Design. They do some fantastic content. And of course, the GTM is underpinned by the sales process and playbook. Success in SaaS sales requires measurement, and measurement requires being systematic. For VPs in early stage startups, there is usually very little meaningful data to work from. So having that ability to test, measure, and see what works, what does not work, and then respond to it quickly will be an important component to improving your chances of success. And the third thing for me is people. Does the business have the right functions in place to support growth? And if it doesn't, what are those first critical hires? It takes more than just a sales team to successfully grow a business. I remember when I was in my startup, I got quite a lot of pressure from investors to hire lots of salespeople because there was this notion that more salespeople equals more revenue. However, if the right plan, process, and supporting functions are not in place, the sales team will less likely be successful, less likely to meet their quota targets, and are more likely to be frustrated and leave. So who are those first critical hires beyond your first 1 to 2 salespeople? Personally, if it's not in place already, mine would be marketing. Critical component in finding, driving, and nurturing leads. And they create this really rich content that enables sales to have more effective conversations with buyers. Now, assuming customer success is in place, for me personally, the second hire would be revenue operations. Revenue operations reinforces that alignment between marketing and sales. And they operationalize the process and make sure you have the technology in place to support the metrics across both marketing and sales ops. And the great thing about RevOps is you have then the ability to bring in customer success and the expansion metrics. But the point here is having the right other functions in place to support growth will really improve the VP sales chances of success. So what do I conclude? I'm afraid to say there is no silver bullet. When one person can come in and take a business to 10 million ARR, it's the sum of many parts. Not to say the VP of sales isn't critical, but product market fit, plan, process, and people make a business successful. And people for me are number one. If it takes roughly 18 months to hire a good VP of sales, then you have to account for ramp up. And the average tenure is 12 to 18 months. It just isn't effective for either party. Something is broken. So I think it's really worth businesses taking the time to think before you hire and equally thinking before you fire. Is the person the problem or a symptom of the problem, or are there other issues? Weigh up the pros and cons on losing the person versus upskilling. And so what can we all do? I think it's great that conversations are starting to happen and we're realizing there is a problem, but I think we can do more. It's really important that we share experiences within this community in forums like Sales Confidence. And I think by sharing lessons learned from our pitfalls and the mistakes that we make, I'm confident that we can help first-time founders and VP sales look forward to many successful years of working together. Thank you.